Hi there, this is Larry Hankin. Guess where I am? Well, I'm at home, but I'm chatting with Staxx. Check it out. He's cool.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Larry Hankin.
I mean, the director and the casting director are in there in that room, but you can't go in there. I said, well, is there any sides? Is there anything? So she gives me a script, 93 pages that I'm going to read. I don't even know which part, but I'm supposed to read this entire thing, pick out a part that I want. So already I want to go home. I mean, that was my adjustment, man. I mean, these jobs you get. This is what I was thinking. I remember this, man. These auditions are getting stupider and stupider. I mean, I just drove down here. I was doing something interesting at home, like washing the dishes. I could be washing dishes right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where my head was at. So, and then as I'm talking, so she gives me the script, and I said, I can't read this. I'm going to go and audition somewhere. She said, well, that's all I have. And she just because she saw my attitude was getting, so she just shut me out. So I just sat down and I put the script in my lap, and then the door opens where she had pointed with the director and the casting director. So the door opened, and this very nice elderly woman, gray-haired woman, elderly. So gray-haired woman peeks out, from behind. She says, "Are you Larry Hankin?" Yeah. Are you ready?
You didn't even read it. You didn't even
Come on, man. How stupid is this going to get? I just arrived. They handed me the script. So I said, yeah. I mean, just like that. Just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted to go home. It is like stupid, man. So I went in, and I said, and there's just two people in this empty room. It's an empty room. No chairs, no nothing. And there's three chairs. Well, there's three chairs. The director, Don Siegel, I didn't even know who he was. My bad. He's an incredibly great director, big time from the 50s. Everybody in Hollywood knows who this director is, except me. So I just sit down, and I didn't, and he's an elderly guy. He also had gray hair. I didn't at the time. See, that's the difference. But it also added to the, this attitude. So there's three chairs, him, the casting director, this woman, and then for me, the auditioner. And we're facing one another in an empty room. And I sit down and I go, he says, "Oh, okay, what part are you here for?" And I just looked at him and I go, nobody's given me the part. They told me that they would tell me what the part is when I got here. So I'm thinking, man, get your shit together, you people. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying it, but you could tell by my body language. And he just looked at me, this great director who I don't know from Adam, man. And he looked at me and he decided, I think right there, I want this guy in my movie. I'm telling you, because that was my whole attitude the entire audition. But he never changed. He just said, well, you got the script there. I mean, he just became very conversational and normal, like a human being. Like, he's like a grocer and I'm auditioning for a clerk. Just, okay, So he said, is that the script you have there in your lap? Yeah. Okay. And he says to the lady, he says, what parts do we have left? Left? I mean, this is getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So what part do you have left? Let's see. She says, well, the cop, one of the cops in the prison, and Charley Butts. He says, that's it? She says, yeah. He says, which do you want to do? He says to me. And I go, I don't know I didn't read the script. I just got the script outside here. I don't know who those people are. I don't know what's going on. I told him that. So I don't know what's going on. See, I'm totally human now, and he's totally like a really great actor. He's just matching me. That's all. He's just feeding off my whatever, my output. And he's going, well, I'll tell you what. Would you like? Which one do you want to do? So I said, I don't know. He said, okay, calm down. It's one of the greatest auditions I've ever done. But it was true. It was all natural. I just was confused. He said, he turned to me, he said, okay, well, do you think you can, how about the cop? Well, what do you call it? The prison guard. That's what it was. He said, what, you want to, how about the prison guard? So I said, okay. And she says, no, that's already been filled this morning. We just filled that one. I'm sorry. That's been filled. And I don't, he has to beat up, that's the cop that beats up Clint Eastwood. There's a scene in the movie where he's in solitary and a cop comes in and beats him up because he can't be, unprotected. So this is what they're talking about. I later found out. So he says, that's the cop that beats up Clint. So he turns to me and he says, do you think you can beat up Clint Eastwood? And I go, I just like knocked off my aim. I don't know what. I go, no, I don't think so. And he goes, yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, all right, forget that. What about Charley Butts? Yeah, this is beautiful. So he goes, what about Charley Butts? He said, that's still open. I said, okay, what about Charley Butts? I said, I don't know who Charley Butts is. I'm really losing my patience. He said, all right, calm down. Now, any other, if I did that, they would say, get out of here. What but he's sticking with me. Yeah. And this is blowing my mind because I'm realizing this guy is sticking with me.
I think the attitude is probably what got you the role.
Yeah. No, it was totally human. It was totally real. In other words, I wasn't acting, pretending, or being nervous or anything. I was just being Larry. So he goes, all right, I'll tell you what. Let's read a scene for Charley Butts. How about that? I said, okay. So he says, all right, turn to page 98. Or not 98. I think it was 98, actually. Maybe it was 103 pages. I don't know. But he says, turn to page 73. So I said, okay. So I turned to page 73. It's a Charley Butts scene. Now, he's got his own script. He turns to... Now, before he starts, he goes, okay, we're just going to read that page, just one page. I'll read with you. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. And now you want to go outside and rehearse a little, look it over. No, let's just do this. Because I wanted to get out of there. I want to go home. Yeah. So I said, no, let's just do this. So he said, okay, fine. Okay. And his first line. So he goes, blah, blah, blah. And I go, blah, blah. So now I'm just reading it. I mean, there's no acting involved. I don't know who Charley Butts is or what the relationship is. I don't know anything. It's one page. So I just read it, just like reading it. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Says, okay, you got the job. And I just sat there, like stunned, literally, because I know for a fact I've done enough audition. They never tell you in the audition. Never. Because it affects the negotiations for money.
Other people too, they don't want.
In other words, they say, well, you got the job. Now they've made it hard for their negotiating guy because they want this guy. So now he has to up, So I knew they didn't tell him. So I just sat there and stared at him like, I dare you to continue this audition and whatever bullshit you're going to hand me next. Because I thought he was punking me. That's what I thought. You got it. So I just sat there. And then he says, you don't believe me, do you? And I go, no, I don't. just like that. And he goes, okay, I'll tell you what. Go home, sit by the phone, and see what happens. Now get out of here. And that was the end of the audition. And that's what he said. And that's what he did. And I got out of there and I'm cursing all the way home. That fucking guy just punked me out. And who the fuck? And I'm going to hand it to my agent, you know.
You're thinking it's all bullshit, right?
Yeah. I'm saying, you know, why did you do that to me? And why did you do that? They do that to you, you know. I mean, so I finally get home and I go, okay. And I opened the door and I sat there for 5 minutes. I did. I got it and I just sat down and I just stared at the fucking phone for about 5 minutes because I said, this is not going to happen. And it rings and it's my agent. My agent says, hey, congratulations, you got the job. Okay, now cut to, then there's a whole, I was on the movie for 3 months. It was a great experience. It's a whole other book in itself. Cut to the movie is coming out. Now, it was a big hit, obviously. Okay, but the movie is coming out. We don't know how it's going to do. So the night before or maybe a week before, it opens wide. It opens wide.
Premiere.
The premiere.
Mm-hmm.
They have a cast and crew screening. And this is a very formal thing, and it's done for everybody, for all movies. And they rent the theater, and it's really nice. It's not shabby. It's not shoddy. And they have just for the cast and crew and their guests, and they show the movie, you know, the final print. So I go in, and I'm very proud, and I've been through a great time and great things. So I'm all pumped. But it's Charley Butts. It's a small role. I mean, there's no getting around that. But it's a suitable role and a sustainable role. And it's a good role. Okay.
Yeah.
So I go in and I sit down. And now the movie starts. And I'm just sitting in this audience. And it goes on. Escape from Alcatraz, starring Clint Eastwood, co-starring blah, blah, blah. Co-starring blah, blah, blah. Co-starring Larry Hankin. What? Co-starring role? Holy shit, man. But yeah. And the reason I think I got the co-starring role was because of my attitude in the movie. I was so blown away and awestruck that I even got in the movie, but that I was doing all my scenes with Clint Eastwood and other great actors, you know. Anyway, so that and that wasn't in the negotiation. I wasn't hired, you know, and as a co-starring role. You saw the audition. I gave it to you.
Yeah.
You saw that's not a co-starring audition by any means. But I think because of how I acted off camera on the set on Alcatraz, that's what I was there every day, dressed in my costume, which was very simple: blue work shirt, jeans, white socks, black shoes. And I got up every day at 6:30 in the morning to catch the 7 or 8 o'clock boat to go to Alcatraz. Because
they shot it in the real prison.
We shot it in the real prison on an island in the middle of San Francisco Bay. And the boats left at 8 o'clock in the morning. Only one fleet of boats. They hired all the tourist boats for the morning 8 o'clock Alcatraz, you know, 200 extras and everybody out there. And then they went their tourist day. So they hired them for, I guess, 2 hours from say 7:30 until 9:30. And then they went about their business. And then they took everybody back at 8 o'clock at night. Again, 2 hours. So you couldn't, if you missed the boat, they had to hire a boat and get one boat to bring you out there. And then you had to wait until 8 o'clock to get on the boat to go back. So in other words, if you were...
Did you ever miss the boat?
Well, if you missed the boat, yeah, they're very angry and you could get fired. Because the one boat that they did have, they did have an extra, in case somebody got sick or they needed a nurse or an ambulance or a CEO came from LA. That was the boat they used. So to use that boat cost them money. If it was for me, that's like an extra. That's like an extra charge. So it was very bad to miss the boat in the morning because they had to send a boat. But if you had a shoot at 10:30 in the morning, then you had to get the 8 o'clock boat, shoot at 10:30, and then wait the entire day on the island until 8 o'clock at night to go back. So it was a kind of a drag. And if you had to shoot at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you had to get the 8 o'clock in the morning boat and wait all day on the island to shoot at 5 o'clock and then get the 8 o'clock boat back. So there was that. But every day I would just get on that 8 o'clock boat in costume with all the other extras and everybody else. I'd go out there and I'd stand next to the camera or I'd hang out either with Clint or next to the camera because I just wanted to see how a major movie was really made because I was sick of these freaking TV, walk-on talking roles. So I was there, and when I kind of got my fill of that, I would explore the island. I mean, and I think that's why I got co-starring role. I mean, there's no other reason. It's a small part. It's not a part that would be co-starring, but I think it was given to me by Clint and the director. So that was kind of cool. So that was my first big role.
How long was the whole experience from start to finish with starting filming until they stopped filming? How long was that?
3 months, exactly 3 months. And I was there exactly 3 months on the island. I mean, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I was there the whole time, every day. I think we had one day off. Sunday was the day off. So obviously, but I had friends in San Francisco because that's where I came from the committee in San Francisco. I mean, we had lines around the block, so I had a lot of friends there. So I would hang out at at Vesuvio's or the bars there or wherever my old friends hung out. And I was kind of weird because I had to cut my hair for Escape from Alcatraz. I had a prison cut. And when I was in San Francisco, we were all hippies, so we had hair down here.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird hanging out with friends. I always wore a hat that they would just grab it. Sell out. They paid me a lot of money though.
Did it change the way people treated you? Did it change the way people treated you once that movie got out and they knew that you were in it?
I was given a little more leeway. I mean, first of all, I was auditioned for bigger parts. So the parts changed immediately. Not that much. I mean, I wasn't given starring roles. And I wasn't even given co-starring roles. But I was given speaking roles that carried plot lines and plot twists where they couldn't cut me out because it would cut out the storyline. I was given characters that carried storyline, and that's a different ballgame altogether. More money, bigger parts. So yeah, it did change it. But then it leveled out, and then I just got a thing today in the mail, just a thing where they wanted me to do a commercial for some sort of I don't know, digital company, and they wanted me to do a commercial, and I turned it down because they didn't want to give me any money for it. But what they said was they tried to flatter me into doing it for cheap, saying you were a thing of the 60s. You're like I don't know what they call them. My brain is
like an
what?
icon of the 60s.
Some icon or something like that.
Like an icon of
something, a model of the 60s. You know, you were a big deal in the 60s. You were a well-known actor. That was the word. They used a word that meant you were a well-known actor of the 90s. So that's what Escape from Alcatraz, being in the movie and getting that co-star role, that title, that kind of brought me up to going up for those kind of level jobs until I finally became very well known in the 90s. That was my time. And then things, you know, just started to get a little less, but I hung around there, you know, just a little below there. And until finally I just got out about 10 years ago. I just...
So Billy Madison, you were in Billy Madison,
Billy Madison, Home Alone, Breaking Bad. Yeah, Breaking Bad. And then, you know, what was the 3 for John Hughes? She's Having a Baby, Home Alone, and
Running Scared,
Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Yeah. So that kind of kicked me up the hill, you know, and then I remained there and just did that, and that's how I became well known for that level. And and the rest is history. I mean, but you know,
how did you become friends with Adam Sandler, and how was it filming Billy Madison?
I never became friends with Adam Sandler. I mean, he and I are just, we don't work together very well. Maybe now he's learning. He was a kid when I was, you know, an experienced actor, and he was just a control freak, and very underhanded. Not underhanded, manipulative. He's an incredibly manipulative person, and I sniffed that out. That was like my father and my family. They don't tell you what they're really doing or what they're really going for. Total opposite of like the director of Escape from Alcatraz, who just goes to where you're at and talks to you. You know, he's very manipulative. I don't trust him at all. Adam. I respect his financial dealings in Hollywood, but he's far outfoxed by Hart. What's his first name? I don't know. Is his first name the stand-up comedian Hart?
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he's been outshone by Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is, but he used to be as powerful. Adam Sandler, about 10 years ago, maybe even now, maybe 5 years ago, he was as powerful as Kevin Hart is, but behind the scenes, but so manipulative. And he just jerked me around. I have nothing. I'm out of the business now. I have nothing good to say about Adam.
So what about Home Alone? When you filmed Home Alone, how was that?
Well, that was, you know, I mean, you're working with great people. Home Alone, Roberts Blossom. I didn't work in Home Alone.
Pesci was in that, right?
And well, see, in Home Alone, I didn't work with anybody. I worked alone. I was a cop on the phone. I went in for a day.
Yeah.
There's a part in the book, in this book, that guy. This is about all the stuff that I talked about. I go into depth in here. It's pretty funny, and it's pretty interesting. But in Home Alone, I just went in for one day, And the story of that one day would take me 20 minutes to tell the story. It's really funny and interesting. I do it in nightclubs.
So you have the whole story in your book. The whole story is in your book
of everything that I just told you. Each part that I told you.
Yeah.
Greenwich Village, college, Carl, Second City, the committee. They're all chapters in the book.
You're gonna need a part two. You're gonna need a part two, man.
No, it's too hard. I got it all out. It ends in 2015. It goes from my childhood to 2015. Each is a chapter. Some are small, some are only 2 pages, but some are like 10, 15, 20 pages. It's just, but Home Alone is a very unique one. I chose that. They wanted me to, The Crow, which is one of these small nightclubs, coffee houses, where you can go up and do your 3 minutes. And they gave me 10 minutes. They said, hey, why don't you do a story from your book? Tell one of the stories from your book. So last week I did it. I told the Home Alone story. I took the Home Alone chapter, and I told it, and it killed, man. It was really great. It was very funny. Because when I read it, I wrote it, so it's not funny to me at all. It's just I'm correcting mistakes or saying I shoulda. But when but when you tell it to an audience, there's none of that. You get this feedback immediate. So you're just going along. So I did it, and it worked really well. But that one story took me, and they gave me 10 minutes. So I say, put me on last, because I don't know how long it'll go. It took me 10 minutes to read. But if people are laughing, it gets longer. You just got to wait. So and somebody filmed it, and it was 20 minutes. So it's a 10-minute read. So it's about 10, 12 pages long. But it's 20 minutes with the laughs.
With the laughs in between, right?
Yeah. So I mean, the book is really good. But I've done that. But I'm writing a second book, and this one is called a memoir. It's a memory of all the things I did. So the second one, all the things I did, that's true. It's a true book. But the second book is a fake memoir. I made up a person.
Memoir.
A fake memoir. Yeah, there's none out there. It's never been done. So I'm going to see what happens.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, so basically I made up a person and did his memoir. I like an actor, and then I assumed his role, and then I started to type what he remembered. Not what I remembered, but what he remembers. And it came out great, man. It's just so in and out. It's not like, really what it is, it's like how my mind thinks is how it is. It's the inside of my head, because I go from here to there. I'm dyslexic. So, and I'm focus, not focus deprived, but there's something wrong with my focus. I can't focus for too long. That's why I liked the small roles. The great thing about it was I didn't have to memorize much. I can memorize larger roles. It just takes me a longer time, and I have to work at it. But I mean, there's a lot of actors. You wouldn't know it, but there's a lot of actors who are dyslexic.
So
the one guy from
what about Mr. Heckles?
Mr. Heckles
played Mr. Heckles in Friends, right?
Yeah. See, that was a great role, because it was very little that I had to memorize, but he registered with people. I'm famous for that. That's my most well-known role is Mr. Heckles. The second one is Old Joe from Breaking Bad. So the 80s and the 90s is real. you know, I got my chops. And then 80s, 90s, and then 2000. 80 to 90,
because the
90
Breaking
to
Bad, that
2000,
really,
2010. Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah, I
puts
had
you
a pretty
into
good
the
run.
new
So that's like
millennium, right?
from the 80s to 2010. So that's 10, 20, 30 years. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Well, 79, the Alcatraz was 79, so you got.
Oh, wait a minute. Well,
little bit
no,
of
but
70.
I kind of took a dive. Yeah, it was 70. Alcatraz was 79. I thought it was like 70.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
So
that's
it's
when
like,
yeah, you're right. 79. Yeah, so 79 to 210. So 80 to 90, 90 to 2000 to that 30 years where I was well known. I mean, people knew me on they still do, but that was when I was hot.
Yeah, you are well known. People, you have a really recognizable
well, face and characters. Yeah, you know, it just I don't know what it is. It's partly me. I have this theory. I mean, it's made up. I know it's made up. I mean, really, what it is, it's muscle memory is one thing I have that's good. I have a good muscle memory, but also there's something else. I don't know what it is. I say it's muscle memory, but it's more than that. In that, when I get on screen with a bunch of people, your eye goes to me. Now, there's nothing I'm doing that I know about that will do that makes that happen. But people have told me. I don't see it. I see it because I want to watch what I'm doing. But no, audiences, when they see a whole group of people, if I'm on the screen, they'll watch me. I don't know why that is, but that adds to the 80s to the 2010 thing that I have. But I notice it in my own private life where I'll say, oh, that's, and I call it the other guy. It's like mainly when I'm playing the guitar, learning the guitar. Now I learned it, but you know how you want to memorize the lines, the song that you're singing, the words, and then you want to the strumming, and then with the chords, you know. So when I finally learned how to put it all together and sing the song and play the tune and do the chords, then I would just sing the song. I didn't pay any attention to anything. And then I started to think, who's thinking about where my fingers are going? I'm not thinking about that. I'm just playing to you and singing the song. Well, who's taking care of that? So that's the other guy. That's the other guy.
Yeah.
That other guy who's taking care of it, he takes care of a lot of other things. Like when I drop something and I catch it before it hits the floor. Well, we all do that. Well, that's reaction. I call it the other guy. I didn't think about, you know, it was total reaction. Had nothing to do with the conscious me. That's that's the same guy. Well, I label it as a guy. It's not guy. It's me. It's, you know, the human animal. It's we do these things. We remember things. I didn't think to think that. I just thought. So I caught, and I think that's what the screen captures, because a lot of really good actors and directors tell me that in learning to act, that it's what you think that the camera captures, not what you're saying. It photographs what's going on inside here. Now, a lot of cinematographers have told me that, and a lot of actors have told me that. And then finally, I put the two and two together. Oh, it's the same thing as the fingers, as the reaction. It's you. It's the you have no control over. It's the you that people really see. You know, when you're just talking to your friends and they say, "Hey, Larry, how you doing?" That's what they see. That's what they're saying. And it translates to the screen. And some people have it. Stars have it. Big star. Clint Eastwood has it. Joe Pesci has it. Joe Pesci doesn't have to do anything. But if he gets in front of a camera, you watch him. You know, it's luck. It's how, you know, some people are born and invent Tesla cars. It's, you know, he was just born smart or whatever. I don't know. You know. It's
so there's a lot of actors out there that are maybe watching this, right? Yeah. What would be your advice for them?
Be yourself, because that's really interesting. Be yourself first, always, and then just add on like makeup. When they put makeup on you, they don't put makeup over you. They put makeup on you. That's what you do with the character. You just put it on you. But it's you. So don't act. Don't act. Because the camera picks up the falsification. Like Charlie Chaplin, yeah, he's the one who taught me that, who told me that. Even when I was 10 years old. Charlie Chaplin, okay, look at any Charlie Chaplin movie. His little films. His shorts mainly. Okay. You try to find me Charles Chaplin, the man. You can't do it. He is the little tramp. That's all there is. That's all there is that little tramp. You know, I mean, he just gives it over. I mean, because if there was any Charles Chaplin in there, it would be studied. It would be rehearsed. You would pick up on that. Oh, he didn't rehearse enough, or he rehearsed too much. But he just goes there, man. I mean, it's a gift. It's a gift.
Yeah.
And some people can do that. So don't act. Don't act. That's the only thing I can tell you that I've learned about acting. I mean, you do the research. That's the other stuff. That's the book learning stuff, you know. But just acting. It's just like you don't rehearse you. You get on, you know, Bill Staxx and you interview people. Well, the reason that you're a good interviewer is because you're concentrating on me. You're Bill Staxx, always Bill Staxx. And if you were false and try to act like a great commentator, I'd pick up on that and it'd be a lousy interview, right? I mean, if you forced it, you know, you just got to, you know, go with the flow, go with what the person is talking about. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I watch news a lot, and the interviewers. There's two kinds of interviewers. One is they want to get information from this person, and one is they have a plan on what they need to get this person to say or do or hang himself. And so all they're doing is asking questions that can get this guy to admit that he was saying bullshit last week. And the viewer can never mind the guy who's bullshit. The viewer is looking at the guy saying, "You're full of shit, man. You're just like, no, you're trying to manipulate this guy." So you lose. You don't care what the guy is. You're looking at the guy. You know, it's weird what the camera picks up and what we look at. It's not what we think, you know. But that's it. I mean, it's a long story that I made even longer. It's all just
shit. You had an absolute great performance in Escape from Alcatraz. I remember watching that.
Yeah, and you can't find honestly, Larry Hankin because it's Larry Hankin.
It was you. Yeah.
It was me the whole time. And I've never been able to get that relaxed on camera ever. I mean, I maybe did it for a second with old Joe or a second here or there. But the entire role of an Escape from Alcatraz is me not knowing what's going on in the movie business. And that's what the director wanted Charley Butts to be in the prison. He doesn't belong there. Charley Butts was given the wrong prison place. He should have been back on the island in a police jail, you know. But Alcatraz was way too big for Charley. And that's what you read, but it was way too big for me. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just following directions, or Clint, or just answering what he asked me. I was just like sitting in the chair with the director going, well, what do you want me to do? I don't know who Butts is. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why I'm in prison. They put me in the wrong prison. I don't know.
Yeah. So did they use Al Capone's cell when they were doing the movie?
That's a really interesting question. Not many people ask it. Once in a while I get it. But on the set, on the island, making that movie, that was one of the big deals. Okay, we called the guides who take regular tourists when they're not making a movie or anything. They take tourists through the Alcatraz, through the prison, on tours that they pay for. And these guys and girls are dressed in uniform, smoky uniforms, right? With the smoky hats and the, forest green uniforms. So we called them Smokies on the set when they came through. Now, one of the rules was, because Alcatraz is now a national monument, so we were filming on a national monument that has rules for the government, never mind California. And one of the rules is that it's a national monument and you can't fuck it up. You can't mark on it. You can't change anything. And the tourists are first and foremost. It's set up as a tourist monument. So we had to listen to that. We had to be guided by that. So in other words, one of the things, patented things, was if we were shooting in a place where a Smoky took a guided tour through, it didn't matter where in the scene we were. We had to stop and let the tourists go through. And that was okay. That was okay. So the jail cell in particular, everybody, when they heard that Clint Eastwood was making a movie on Escape from Alcatraz, on Alcatraz, they started to come over to watch the movie being made, not to take a tour of the Alcatraz. So when they came over and they went on the tour, what all the tourists asked for was, where is Clint Eastwood's cell? The Smokies, all of them, just went through the roof, man. They got really angry. They started to complain. They didn't like it because nobody asked where Al Capone's cell was anymore. They just wanted to know where Clint Eastwood's cell was, and Clint Eastwood never was on the island and had nothing to do with Alcatraz. So the Smokies had to interrupt their spiel and interrupt their tour while waiting for us. Sometimes they would wait for us to finish the scene before forcing their way through. But now, with the Clint Eastwood cell, they started to force their way in, or they would take the tours around, break the tour guide, and go around and aim for where we were shooting. They would just take the tour to where we were shooting and make us stop. And so, in a way,
mess it up. Try to mess
things up. They were fucking with us. No, they wanted that to stop. About the tourists asking where Clint Eastwood's. They said, this is a national monument, and people are coming in and asking where some stupid actor made a movie. I mean, it was just fucking ruining their entire reason for being. So they would start to interrupt wherever we were. They would take a tourist guide through. And he said, all right, stop filming. And we have to just stand back and let them pass through. And of course, they would take them through really slow, you know. And of course, the tourists would want autographs. So could you have him? They would pass by. And Clint would just walk away. He would just disappear. So then, so it would, you know, eat up time. And we were going to be there 3 months and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that was a bone of contention, was where is Al Capone's cell? We didn't talk about that because the tourists were just bugging the crap out of us, man. See, I say us. See how I talk now? Us. See, I just
it was us. You were part of the crew, man.
I was part of the crew, man.
You're the co-star.
Well, I mean, no, but when they started to interrupt, even when I was there and I didn't know about that because we were just shooting the movie. No, I was insulted just like, you know, Clint was and the other actors were and all the extras were. No, we were, hey, man, we're making a movie here. You know, this is important stuff. You want to know where Clint Eastwood's cell is?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Did you ever go into Capone's cell? Did you ever go check it out?
I don't know where it is. I never asked. It never entered my mind. I mean, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in that's like a fan. If you want to sit or see, he's not there. It's fucking cement and bars. I don't get it. What?
I know a lot of people will travel there just to see that.
Yes, I know. I listen, I'm in the world of fans. Fans want my autograph. Why? It's not me. I don't get it. I mean, I understand. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I understand. But that, first of all, that's not my signature. That's not me. That's not my signature. Is that yours?
Oh, that was in your signature?
That's not mine.
It's Larry Hankin.
Larry Hankin. Charley Butts. Whose is that? Whose picture is that?
Yeah,
Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that picture?
I don't know.
Okay, I mean, I don't care.
Google?
Oh, maybe you got it off the internet.
No, I got it.
I don't care. I don't care. If it's yours, I'm fine. I'm not gonna. But I don't understand it.
I wish I had a picture like that.
No, I mean, I don't understand it. I do it. I sign them. I go to these, these arena shows, Comic-Con, and I sign my thing. And I have a special because that was the first thing that people told me. There's a piece of knowledge that not everybody gets. Change your autograph because people will use it to sign checks. That's forgery. Do not sign your real autograph or people will steal it. So I had to, and if you'll notice, everybody who's signing autographs don't sign their autograph. They sign a mark, a particular autograph mark, or a way of signing it.
Just a scribble.
A scribble. I have a way of signing it that I know is me signing an autograph, but it's not my check signing autograph.
Nowadays, everything is digital. Everything is digital. And,
well, that's going to be old school. AI is going to eat digital and your lunch. Digital is
crazy.
It's over. Digital is over. AI, man. I mean, it helped. It's probably part of it, but AI, man, that's like the Industrial Revolution. AI is not like digital.
Really
AI is like oil. There's before oil and there's now. And then there was, kind of before digital, but AI is like before oil. 2 different worlds. And this is going to be known as the carbon era. We are in the carbon era. Very short life span left, as is Homo sapiens. But it's the carbon era that did us in, and we did it. We're the first species that extincted ourselves. I'll drink to that.
Man, I know.
Okay. Perfection.
Right, man.
My middle name.
If you guys like this interview, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And make sure you go buy his book. The link will be in the description of this video.